What's going on, Oakland Raider fans? It's your boy Dylan back at you guys with another video for the Black and Silver Way. Just bringing you guys some ranked match I recorded a couple days ago against the San Francisco 49ers. As you know, we have a bye week right now. Tony Sperano's trying to get the hang of things, and pretty much there's a lot of things in the air right now with is Reggie McKenzie staying? Is Jon Gruden going to come back? Is Jon Gruden going to be our general manager? Is he going to be our head coach? Is he not going to come back at all? You know, there's also Mike Holmgren that won in 1996 with the Green Bay Packers, a Super Bowl then with Brett Favre. They said that, you know, there's a lot of different things that are going on right now. Talks about our offseason coming up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and get right into that. So let's go ahead and start it off with Mike Holmgren, shall we? We'll give you guys a couple background on who Mike Holmgren is, who you guys don't know. Out of the regular season head coaching record of all time, he has 161 wins, 111 losses. Postseason, he's 13 wins, 11 losses. And he won a Super Bowl with the Green Bay Packers in 1996. But the way he first got into the NFL was the San Francisco 49ers. From 1986 to 1988, he was the quarterback's coach. And from 1989 to 1991, he was the San Francisco 49ers offensive coordinator. During his tenure with the San Francisco 49ers, he won 2 Super Bowls with them. And then he went from 1992 to 1998 with the Green Bay Packers and Brett Favre as a head coach, his first head coach job ever. And he ended up getting a ring with Brett Favre in '96. And then after his time with the Packers, from 1999 to 2008, he was on the Seattle Seahawks as their head coach and obviously didn't do shit. And then from 2010 to 2012, he was the team president of the Cleveland Browns. While he was with the Cleveland Browns, they were 14 of 34. So 14 losses, 14 wins, 34 losses. Really didn't do anything in Cleveland. He was pretty much a terrible owner. But, you know, overall, the guy does have a few rings under his belt. He is, you know, known to be a really good quarterback coach. He did teach Steve Young. He did teach Brett Favre, Matt Hasselbeck as well, and Brandon Weeden. Brandon Weeden obviously is not that good of a quarterback, but Matt Hasselbeck, Brett Favre, and Steve Young do have a fair share of numbers in their books. Obviously, Steve Young and Brett Favre especially. You know, it's definitely a step in the right direction if we were to get Mike Holmgren on the Oakland Raiders this offseason. It's something that obviously is not that exciting to me because, you know, during his time with the Seahawks and, you know, pretty much the last freaking 10, 15 years, he really hasn't done anything. So, in my opinion, it is a step in the right direction because Dennis Allen obviously wasn't a good head coach. And Tony Sperano, I think, is a decent head coach, but obviously doesn't have Super Bowl caliber underneath his name and doesn't have as much experience as Mike would bring to the table. As you guys probably heard, Mike did visit the Raider facilities this last week, and there's definitely a possibility that he could be the #1 candidate to being our head coach next season. Reggie McKenzie did come from the Packers, and if Reggie McKenzie is going to be in office, able to hire a head coach, definitely Mike is the #1 candidate so far. So comment below, let me know what you guys think. In my opinion, it's not a home run hit. I don't think it's a superstar head coach, but it's definitely something better than what we've had in the last 3 or 4 years. In other news, a lot of you guys also have heard that Rich Gannon has a talk show. Actually, you know, he has a talk show. He talks about the Oakland Raiders. He talks about a lot of stuff. It's on Sirius XM Blitz on Wednesday. He has a 5-minute radio show, and he went on a rant about the Oakland Raiders. And, you know, a lot of people were sour about it. A lot of people are agreeing with it, but I'm going to go ahead and just let you guys know how I feel about this whole situation. Let me go ahead and give you a quote of what he said. He said, "You got this sign in front of the building out there. I don't know if you've ever been out there, but there's a sign that says commitment to excellence. They ought to take it down. It's false advertising right now. There's a commitment to mediocrity right now, and that's the problem. The product on the field is terrible, and when you lose like that, how can you go to the bank and cash your check? You should be embarrassed, and that's the facts. And 3 weeks ago, Charles Woodson says we suck after the team's loss in Houston. In my opinion, Gannon's right. There's no reason to be mad at what Gannon said. I know a lot of the veterans on the team took that the wrong way. There are a lot of veterans on our team now. Obviously, the ones in free agency don't count, but there are some vets on the team that have been with the organization for almost 6 to 7 years. Darren McFadden, Marcel Reece, Charles Woodson. I'm just going to count Charles Woodson because he's one of the most veteran Raiders on the team. So, Marcel Reece reacted really fast. He's definitely our outspoken younger leader that we have. He quote-unquote said, "It's funny because when I was on Rich's show yesterday morning, none of this stuff was said. When I was on air with him and a few hours later, people are bringing up transcripts of this rant that he went on. I take these type of things personally. He was talking about the leadership on the team and the vets on the team, and I am a leader on this team." My question to Rich is, when is the last time Rich actually came to watch us practice and watch the work we put in? And for Rich to be a guy who people love, Raider fans love him, the organization has showed him a ton of love, and he's talking about the organization that gave him a chance and let him do his thing here, and now he's just bashing us. I'm in the business of fixing problems, not causing them. I invite Rich to a practice to come see how myself and my guys work every day, day in and day out, with the excellence that we demand of each other. That's what I ask of him. Later on, when that quote was released, Rich Gannon tweeted out, "I lost myself in my Raider rant yesterday. Pains me to see the team struggle. They do have some good people who care about winning. #frustrated. Honestly, both sides are right. I can see why Marcel Reece was getting annoyed, because it seems like Marcel Reece, we all know the work that he puts in on the field and off the field. Rich Gannon, he's just frustrated like all of us. Obviously, we do feel like a lot of these players aren't showing it, because obviously they're not. We're getting our ass kicked, we're getting embarrassed, and we're all sick and tired of it. And Rich Gannon has the right to go ahead and say that, because he's been there and he's done that already. He's brought us to the Super Bowl. There's a lot of respect for Rich Gannon, and he went out like a G. He ended his career with the Oakland Raiders, and he went out with the utmost respect from me. I want to get Rich Gannon tatted on my freaking leg next to Charles Woodson and Tim Brown, because that's the only best memories I have was Rich Gannon. So I respect what he's saying, and yes, the veterans should give up their checks because they're not doing shit on the field. But I do understand what Marcel Reece is saying as well. I know Charles Woodson, Marcel Reece, and a few others on the team do put in a lot of work on the field and off the field. So that's how I feel about it. They're both right in a way. It's just really frustrating to see what they're putting out and what we're getting back as fans of this organization. Another big thing that's really up in the air right now, and a lot of big things, speculations, is first of all, a couple weeks ago, Deion Sanders quote-unquote said that I have inside access from the 49ers locker room that multiple players want Jim Harbaugh out of San Francisco. A lot of you guys shall know, if you don't know, Jim Harbaugh is the coach of the 49ers, and this is actually his last year as the head coach for the 49ers. Technically in contract terms, his contract is up at the end of this season. There's been so much, big hype around this right now because Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. And, when the NFL could get any kind of story that Deion Sanders or any NFL analyst is going to blow up or say something like that, they're going to make a huge deal out of it, and all these different rumors are going to spread about it. Today on Bleacher Report, obviously the Raiders need help. We obviously need a head coach. They know that Jim Harbaugh has been with the Raiders organization before as an offensive coach. Back, I think, in 2003 when we almost went to the Super Bowl, or I think almost during the time we went to the Super Bowl. And they're saying, well, Jim Harbaugh, if the Raiders need a coach, Jim Harbaugh would love to go back to Oakland, which I'm sure he wouldn't mind going back to Oakland. But that's only if the 49ers released him, guys. It's not like he's just going to choose to leave the San Francisco 49ers. The San Francisco 49ers front office would have to be complete idiots if they decided to let Jim Harbaugh walk during free agency this year and not re-sign him. If for some weird ass reason that happened, which I highly doubt it is, because Colin Kaepernick, Michael Crabtree, Vernon Davis, Patrick Willis, all quote unquote on Twitter tweeted back and made it loud and clear that they would take a bullet for Jim Harbaugh and they have the utmost respect for him. And a lot of 49er fans love him. He came there and he turned shit around immediately. But let's say the 49ers did release him, then I guarantee you he would be an Oakland Raider coach within a couple weeks after they released him. First of all, Jim has the most respect for the Raiders organization. He has worked for the Raiders organization and loved Al Davis because Al Davis gave him a chance back in the day. And before he went with the 49ers, we had an opportunity to sign Jim Harbaugh, but Al Davis chose Hugh Jackson over that, and we all know how that went. That was a huge mistake. Jim Harbaugh was about to be our head coach in 2011, but things didn't happen the way they did. They should have went, and Al Davis chose Hugh Jackson, and then Al passed away a couple months later. Anyways, Jim Harbaugh, I know, would love to stay in the Bay Area. He loves the Oakland A's. He goes to the Oakland A's a lot, so I mean, it all makes sense that, yes, he would be a Raider head coach. If there was an opportunity to grab him, yes, that would happen. But obviously, let's just be realistic here. The 49ers are not a stupid franchise, and I don't believe that they're going to let Jim Harbaugh walk this year. So that's how I feel about the whole Jim Harbaugh situation, about him coming to Oakland and all these huge speculations. And the last thing I wanted to talk about, guys, is my prediction coming up against the San Diego Chargers. Let's face it, the San Diego Chargers look incredible this season, and it's definitely concerning because we have to face them 2 times this year like we do every single year. Coming up this Sunday at 1 o'clock, the Chargers are coming into Oakland to play us for the first time this season. They're coming off a really good season so far. Actually, the best season they've had, a best season start in a few years. Last year when they came to Oakland, we had a stronger team. We had some momentum going into that game, and we had some playmakers last year. This season, it seems like everybody is sleeping on the bench, and we just fired our head coach. So definitely not an exciting year for us, and you know, I definitely see us not playing how we did like last year, but you never know. It's a division game. We usually give the Chargers some trouble, especially at home. But offensively, they just came off of a win against the Jets, 0-31. The Jets are now 1-4, and of course the one win is against us. And the San Diego Chargers are completely opposite, 4-1. They always choke every year. They're not Super Bowl contenders in my book. They will never make it past the postseason, but they definitely are starting off very strong. In my opinion, we do lose this game. I think it's going to be a learning curve with Tony Sparano as head coach now. So we got to make sure that we try and play as competitive as we can. I don't want to get embarrassed, and I know Tony Sparano will definitely not want to get embarrassed for his opener as a head coach with the Oakland Raiders. So I will be out at this game. Hopefully it's competitive, and of course hopefully we win. But in my opinion, it's not looking too good, guys. We all have to face facts here. I don't know if we're going to win a game this season, and if we do win a game this season, I don't know if it's going to be this one. But make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on the video. I will be making a video at the next home game, even if we lose and get our ass kicked. I'll do some vlog footage out there because I know last home game against the Texans, I decided not to put up any of the footage, which was kind of stupid, but I was very shocked and disappointed about that game. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I got the win on the ranked match, and that's about it. Go Raiders. Hopefully you guys have a good week, and I will see you next weekend. Peace out, guys.
game this truly was. For Phil Simms, Danielle Bellini, and Larry Ridley, Jim Nantz saying so long for now, and we leave you with the GMC Never Say Never moment of the game.